Welcome. Fancy seeing you so soon. Okay. So we're going to be channeling a being very near and dear to my heart. She goes by Katara. She is a member of the Galactic Council of 9. If any other council members want to show up, we always invite them in. D, otherwise known as Dolores. Whoever else wants to show up is fine. But for right now, we have Kitarra. And she wants to talk about Ascension symptoms and negative side effects of awakening in spirituality for what that looks like right now. So there are some not so fun type of Ascension symptoms that she wants to discuss and kind of give you a little bit of advice on. But before we get into that, as always, we've got to break down the announcements. The 25% off of a 30 or 40-minute reading with me from PamelaAaralyn.com, that code is ending in about 6 or 7 days. So roughly a little under a week. So if you have a code and you're sitting on it, I would go ahead and use it up before it expires. Just because you have been sent a code does not mean that you can book it whenever you want. So please go ahead and book it. Even if you book far out, at least get the booking in, because the code will expire otherwise in 6 to 7 days. So we'll be closing that pretty soon. Okay, so I have a free offer. I haven't given away a free. I have to say that a lot of times because you don't hear me in marketing until I say free or discount. So here's the free offer. Ask a spirit guide. Ask your spirit guide a question. So this is how that goes. For members who are joining in September and you're a new member to my Patreon spiritual community, or if you are a current tier member, the only thing you have to do is raise your tier up by 1 or by any level at all for that matter that you want. And you get this offer for free. So you can ask your spirit guide a question and I will channel rapidly for you for up to 10 minutes. You can show up live with me and direct the reading. You can show up live, that really embodies that energy, or I can do them just as easily if you are working and you have some places to go and you can't be there. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure that I have your real first name. And if you have a specific question, like write that into the notes in the link that we give you. So when you join Patreon, which is at the link, the top of our chat, and it is a pinned comment, you will want to message us to get that code. All right. So that's that. What else is going on? Oh, today we channeled Jesus and Halal to help us kind of get through the Nag Hammadi and the section of that Gnostic text called the Gospel of Truth. And it was beautiful. That was today on my Patreon channel. For those of you who missed it, please go back. Please go back and look at that. The mystical masterclasses on tier 2 and up have been phenomenal in terms of like your energy being there and kind of us interpreting these Gnostic texts together and whatever mystical texts cross our threshold for that matter in the future. So that we did today. Super fun. Tomorrow we have our spiritual bonfire. So that's what's going on this week. Our new offer for October will be announced for patrons that are new and existing. And it is a really discounted offer in October, but we're not going to tell you about it. It's a surprise, and I'll tell you about it maybe the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd of October. Some point that first week, you'll hear about it, okay? Don't super chat me. I know you love channelings. I do too. I'm here because I love it. I don't need that. Super chat, I know it's on. I just don't know how to turn it off. And I get no ad money from YouTube. I don't even know why super chat's on. I used to, but after COVID, like a lot of my views slowed down. And yeah, so I just turned off my Google Ads account and it's not connected to this. I don't get that money. If you've given, I have to now go connect my account temporarily just to make sure it went to the right place. But Super Chat takes like 30% or something. It's ridiculous. So if you want to donate to me, just go to PamelaAaralyn.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the homepage and you'll see a PayPal donate button. Click that if you feel like it. Not needed, just better than YouTube. You know what I mean? How's everyone doing? I see some familiar faces. Thank you for joining me. So let's get here with Katara. Let me pull up some of my notes. So she said, I wanted to talk to you today about 10 specific new and developing side effects of ascension and spiritual awakening that people simply aren't going to talk to you about. And she said, it's not pretty, it's not easy, and it's not all love and light. That's how she puts it to me. So let's bring her in further. Now that you know that ascension and spiritual awakening is a real and true phenomenon that will affect your life, you suddenly see through the veil, the matrix, whatever you call it. You can't continue living your old life any longer. And you realize that the present humanity and its state is far removed from what really matters. That's love. And if you had thought in the past that a spiritual awakening is all love and light, I'm going to tell you nicely, you couldn't be further from the truth right now in the way that awakenings are looking right now. If you enter into this stage of your life and you're listening to me today, nothing will ever be the same again in these newer types of awakening and ascensions that are transpiring in your human collective now. Is it good? Perhaps the results of them are good, but according to most of you enlightened people, as you would call yourselves, a spiritual awakening is the best thing that could possibly happen to you and the reason why you're here. And on the other hand, it can awaken you to a rather harsh reality that many people in your collective are very unhappy, very unsettled, and very nervous right now, including yourself. So if you're new to Ascension right now, you're likely nodding along with the rest. And this new type of awakening, this new type of ascension will make you aware that many of you are always looking for something better, and that this concept of always making something, wanting to feel better, that is what's causing the awakening or the ascension to be difficult and painful. Because then if you're always wanting for something to be better and you're chasing the better, you can't ever be at peace in ascension with the way it is going right now. And you realize, many of you may be realizing, that a lot of people hurt each other, whether they mean it or not, whether they are conscious or awake or not. So a real spiritual awakening right now, well, it's hard work. And you have to dedicate a lot of time to get to know yourself if you're going through this right now. You have to dedicate a slight amount of balanced time towards the shadow than you would wish. It may be really easy to close your eyes again and to fall back into your old patterns. It may be easy to want to bypass, but it's actually no fun at all. It's no fun at all right now to see how everyone around you is mostly living on autopilot and walking around with dead eyes. How you're mainly chasing money and power still. And why did the universe want to show you that, you may wonder, if you're new to Ascension right now? And the good news is, it is indeed all worth it. You may be asking that. You entered into this awakening to grow as a human being and to be a better person to others and to yourself. That said, a spiritual awakening in your modern times can also make you a little confused. So let's talk about the negative side effects of ascension and spiritual awakening for how they stand right now. No one really talks about that stuff. They don't really want to talk about the bad side effects of ascension or spiritual awakening, but they are real, and they are as real as the whole process of awakening itself. Having entered into a spiritual awakening myself, for the very few times I was human, I encountered and still do have these side effects during my process. So, the first one, people may perceive you as boring. No one talks about that in ascension or awakening. So this might be a persistent negative part of being spiritually awakened. People perceive you as changed. They say, you've changed and you bore me. Perhaps, you used to love going out. You used to love drinking. You used to love, smoking pot or getting high. And now you prefer to meditate in nature and learn about the secrets and the mysteries of life. It's not really a grand party with your friends anymore. You may still want to go have fun and go eat what you used to or get drunk sometimes, but it just doesn't resonate or make your body feel good anymore. You may start to find that conversations are a little more shallow for your preference. And you may drift further and further away from your family members and friends right now. And they may even comment on it. They may even say that you never want to do anything fun anymore, that you're not yourself. And when you think about it yourself, you could probably admit that perhaps this stage is pretty unusual. And it may be pretty boring if the former you were looking at it. So what happened to that extroverted, funny person that you once were? Spiritual awakening makes you listen to your soul and your purpose in life. And for most of you, that's not partying, getting drunk, or trying to get the next promotion. You might resist that in the beginning, but at some point, you may conclude that you've lost that part of yourself and it's not coming back. And it's up to you to see that as good or bad, or helpful or harmful. If you want to backstep into the old you, go ahead, but good luck, because chances are you won't be able to. Let's talk about doubt. It's a common side effect of ascension for both newly ascended beings and for many along their way in the various stages of ascension and spiritual development. So congratulations, you've got the chance to really evolve as a human being. It's like getting an upgrade on coach in flight. You're now upgrading to business class, maybe first class, some of you, whatever the chances are that spirituality could even be presumed as a class. But it's still an amazing opportunity to experience love through brand new eyes, but you will still doubt. When you first start learning about what your unique ascension process or spiritual awakening looks like, everything feels amazing at first, and you feel so lucky to get out of 3D and to see things for the truth that they are, that you have grown so much. You may seek out a spiritual soul family. You may make some wonderful connections, but it wouldn't be a true awakening if you started doubting yourself again. Right? But you're going to. Who are you? Why are you here? Why is this painful? What is the meaning of life? You may slip back down into dark night of the soul during this doubt, and that's all a spiral that's meant for you to rise even further from. This might make you lose trust in your progress, and you try to be your old self again. And try as you may, you'll soon find out that you don't really resonate with either version of yourself, not your old one, but not your new you either. And that's confusing. Confusion is a prominent part of ascension. It's normal, for as normal as you likely don't feel right now. So an awakening is notorious to make you always doubt everything over and over again. So let's talk about another thing, confusion. You get confused about real spirituality and everything that you thought was real. So what is being spiritual anyway, you may ask yourself at this stage? Is it truly to believe in God? Is it to become Buddhist? So now I've denounced God. Does that mean that it was bad? To dedicate yourself to yoga, to become an endless meditator, to endlessly pursue healing, to endlessly be caught up in your inner child work? But the truth is, real spirituality cannot be put into a box. Real spirituality is different for every single one of you. And you might get confused about what is the ultimate truth. Why does this mystic say this and this mystic say that? Who holds the real secrets? That will change, and it will change over and over and over again as you align and realign to your true divine nature. You may compare spiritual teachers one with another. You may compare religions. You may compare anything, and you might become obsessed, perhaps with I don't know, this channel once became obsessed with Alan Watts' every word and then doubted it a month after. It's normal. You may want to become a monk for a little while. Or perhaps you're a green witch. Perhaps you want to become obsessed with buying spiritual things like tarot cards, crystals, incense sticks. But it all ends up making you more confused at first. And then you'll doubt. You'll say, what if I just made it all up and I'm secretly going insane? And you'll say, what if humans are a bunch of sheep trying to make sense of it all and no one has it right? What if there's no real purpose? There's no real purpose for me to be here at all. That would certainly stink. Being confused is a not so fun part of being newly spiritually awakened, or during Dark Night of the Soul, and even the most advanced souls. So, leads me to another thing about confusion. Another thing that happens is you lose friends. If you enter into a spiritual awakening, you will get more and more removed from people that you have called friends. You may want to stay away from gossip, and only profound conversations that stir the soul will excite you, especially if you're one of your friends and one of the only ones who sees how toxic society really can be at this stage of growth. And it might be hard to explain that to them. But this isn't about who's more woke than another. Perhaps your friends are still convinced that they should continue making a lot of money, continue thinking that life is about that powerful career and what it reflects in the success in their path. Or perhaps they're conditioned to follow the general fear mentality that the most of human society lives in right now currently. It's very hard to stay friends with people who you don't really resonate with anymore. And they probably think that you're into some sort of woo-woo stuff and it's just a new phase in your life that you'll grow out of. So this is a sad side effect of spirituality and ascension. You will lose some of your lifelong friends, and it's okay. People will come, people will go. Sometimes you just have to say goodbye, temporarily or permanently, if your friends are not good for your growth anymore. Oh, here's another thing that you do. You follow the wrong teachers. Now, this is a trap that many spiritual seekers fall into. You simply need to understand that many enlightened people claim to have special healing powers, but those powers don't make them more awake. And of course, they can't wait to show you exactly how it's done and how you can be like them. But a true guru will direct you to the teacher that is within you to make you become more like you. And as a newly made spiritual person, you'll want to believe everything. Everything will excite you. And besides, woke people are so radiant, expansive, exciting, and their life looks like a dream on Instagram. They have so many followers, whatever it is that is sparking you. Perhaps you think, well, they must be doing something good in their lives. You get obsessed with their YouTube channels. You buy every course they recommend. After all, you are the one who needs the guidance, and you feel like everyone around you knows more than you. Perhaps even the wrong people. And the sad truth is that there are some sharks in your spiritual world. They may have some sort of gifts or wisdom, but this doesn't mean they're better than you, and their intentions aren't as clear or pure as yours is. As a newly awakened being, tapping into the innocence of your soul, your power is greater than you think. Be aware of any teacher or healer who claims they can heal you. They are probably the ones that need the most healing themselves. So spiritual narcissism is a real thing, and you need to know about this. Because if you don't, you'll lose a lot of money, and then you could possibly doubt and shame yourself even further later. So following that bad side effect of an awakening, you most likely lose a lot of money when you reluctantly step your feet into the spiritual world, and not always to spiritual narcissism, but you believe all the crap that society is trying to sell you about spirituality, and you will believe that you need it to get further. So what is it? A blessed tarot deck? A mega expensive online course that promises you that you'll get enlightened? Or perhaps you'll get obsessed with spiritual healing events, breathwork sessions, cacao ceremonies, plant medicines, psychedelic retreats, and ayahuasca. Where did you lose yourself in that? Have you stopped long enough? Can you sit still long enough to remember yourself outside of all of that? Don't get me wrong. These ceremonies and tools can be very powerful, but there's a difference between paying a fair price for spirituality to cover the cost or having to put down too much money to attend a retreat with a supposed teacher or medium that claims she could or should get paid top dollar for some services because money's energy. And that should be exchanged and flow. It sounds like hogwash to us on the council. An exchange should be equal. And where does that leave you? Make sure you leave being fed. Otherwise, money is not well spent, and you must be a good steward of money when you are newly spiritually awakened. Here's another pitfall. Speaking of newly spiritually awakened, another bad side effect of spiritual awakening and of ascension is falling into the trap of New Age spirituality. New Age spirituality, it's beautiful, but so is old age. And what is new and old anymore? Do you think it's better because it's new or better because it's old? Simply follow yourself in this. Don't use spirituality as your new status as a spiritual person to not face your issues, which is at the core of common, regular New Age spirituality right now. You think you've seen the light. You think you've arrived. No one can teach you. This is the opposite of the other pitfall I mentioned, where you believe everyone should teach you. You reach a point after a lot of work in New Age spiritual processes to believe that you've entered 5D, you've had mystical visions, you've become enlightened, and now your work is done. But this is actually where the real work begins. How enlightened are you to realize that enlightenment doesn't actually exist? Besides, if you were enlightened, you'd know there's no other. So who is saying, I am blank? There's always more to learn about yourself and your karma. You'll never stop growing and evolving. There are only stages of awakening. This isn't an ascension point, a peak at which you stop, and then all is well. After that, typically, another thing that people don't talk about in awakening is that you become entitled. Now, this is a dangerous side effect of being spiritually awakened. You feel better than others. You think that you shouldn't have to deal with their low vibes. You think you have gifts that others don't have, that you deserve to get what belongs to you. And you look down on people who are not there yet, or who are not woke yet, or who don't know your truth that you just got off of some online forum. Your new friends and you could be so awake in your new circle, law of attraction to manifest all that you feel entitled to. You tell people that they create their own reality even when they're deeply suffering. It's not okay with us. That is spiritual narcissism at its finest. You tell people that all they really need to do is think about something and it belongs to them. In form. Great. But alignment doesn't always work that way. Don't we all choose our own path? What about divine will? Has your manifestation course covered that? We doubt it because no one can know the mind of the Father. It's common to fall into this negative spiral of spiritual awakening as a side effect, but despite the fact that you have woken up to the toxicity of your 3D society, that doesn't mean that you're at a higher point of truth than anyone else. And it doesn't mean that you can manifest better or more than them, or that you should close your eyes to their pain that they have to endure. They didn't choose to be born in a war-ridden country. They didn't choose to be raped. They didn't choose to be locked up in a basement to be sexually abused. How dare you tell them that they create their path? To really realize you became entitled in this process is a true sign of growth. This channel has gone through it, and now some of you are going through it. No one chooses to have bad things happen to them. That's not the way the law of magnetism works. If anything, you should feel heightened compassion for everyone around you, especially the people who are less lucky than you in their path. Because ultimately, a spiritual awakening teaches you that we are all one. Moving on, I didn't want you to think that that's a lecture, but one of the things that's happened shortly after that is that you think you need to heal everyone or fix everything or rescue them. That is a side effect of spirituality and ascension that not many want to talk about. And this is a trait of many spiritual people that we have encountered so many times when we observe you. And truth be told, many fall into this trap. It's very easy. And many think that you learn a lot of lessons about life in the universe and you would want others to learn the same. There's no harm in wanting to share truth. So when you diagnose people with a problem that you thought they had and you thought it would help them to know about this, ask yourself, is this truly the message that needs to be shared with them? Did their soul give you permission? Is it a helpful message for them at this time? Not is it right or wrong or highest or best, but is it helpful at this time? Is this a truth they can handle even? You may want to ask permission of that person's soul before you impose your energy upon them. You may feel the urge to make it your mission to wake others up as well. That is a side effect of spirituality that not many talk about. And after all, you do feel different, and you have seen miracles and mystical visions that you cannot deny. Of course you want to share it. Maybe you really do see what is an issue with someone else and how that could improve their lives. But if their soul isn't ready, and you sweep in and knock them off their feet with your truth, karmically speaking, that could be disastrous for them. Be discerning with your messages. Don't just pop that message on someone. Ask if the human mind wants to hear it. Ask the person before you share a message with them, and ask their soul. You must receive permission both consciously and at the soul level. Everyone is on their own journey at their own pace. It's not you who does the healing. You can be a vessel for it, but you can only be a vessel for them to do their own healing. People will naturally come to you if they feel they want help and if you inspire them. So let them come. Don't beg and don't give them unwanted advice. Truly enlightened people are aware in spiritual awakening that they are not here to give advice unwarranted, nor to receive it unasked for. So here's the final thing. You may wish you never even happened upon spirituality at some point. This is another thing that perhaps many aren't telling you, that you would feel this way. You're getting all of these, after all, negative physical and emotional side effects of ascension and spirituality. So you may say, what the heck is the purpose of getting into spiritual awakening if I'm going to feel this way? Especially if you've been a victim of a bad guru. You might want to turn back on spirituality completely, you tell yourself. And you may ask, well, why did I have to enter this journey? The spiritual community seems so fake. If everyone is so awakened as they claim to be, you may ask yourself, why is there so much pain in the world? You have some pretty deep questions at this stage. And this is the best stage. This is when you truly open up to your soul. You may tell yourself, I want to go back to the fun times, the easy times, get a 9-to-5 job, the times where I had to navigate all this confusioning, awakening crap. But the good thing about spiritual awakening in a modern world is that there is a silver lining. It can be beautiful. It's true that you will get more peaceful and you will become a happier person in general. You will stop searching for external validation. And you will finally just trust the pace of natural life as a human being. And you will learn that your intuition is not a gift, but a programmed survival necessity. Not a gift, not an ability, that all of you have it. As natural as you think, you can intuit. So which will you choose first? You feel more secure at this stage about who you are. And You can genuinely enjoy the beautiful things on this amazing planet at this stage of awakening. At this stage of awakening, you will learn to trust in your gifts and skills, and you might completely change your career around into something that truly fulfills you, and you stop asking yourself the question, what is my life purpose? That you begin asking yourself, how does my purpose best serve the world? You stop asking yourself, where do I fit in here? You stop making it all about you, and you start asking yourself, how can I discover the unique thread of fabric that blends and weaves into society gracefully? So a spiritual awakening definitely isn't red wine and roses, but if you're genuine about your process and your intentions, you do inevitably reach a higher consciousness that can inspire and truly help others. And that, we believe, is a real purpose of spiritual awakening, to let everyone be on their own journey, to have compassion for the thousands of people that fight every day for their lives. Be well. I'm here to open up to your questions now. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you're going on with it, what you have going on in Ascension. We can ask Katara any of these questions about any of her messages today. I'm not surprised by anything she said. So let's go into questions. How do I serve others? She said, work with the ancient mystical technologies that were first on your planet, and these are the graces. Serve them by blessing them with such graces, whether they be in thoughts, actions, or simply bringing over a casserole when someone's sick. She said, there are ways to be benevolent, but ask for the gift of benevolence and ask which specific gift of benevolence is best needed for their mind and body at this time. That is the most compassionate way to serve. It would be simple to think that bringing over a casserole to a homeless person would be the best thing, but perhaps they've already been fed and they need an intellectual gift of benevolence. They need you to understand and send a message channeled as you become a conduit of grace, and they need some inspiration. Perhaps they need something at that time more than the casserole, or perhaps if they're starving, of course, they're going to take the casserole, but be benevolent. Remember the ways of your ancestors. Serve by feeding them, serve by hugging them, serve by helping the elderly and the infirmed. Start there. What happened to that type of service in a modern society? And again, I remind you, first and foremost, ask which type of benevolence serves them most, and then an idea may intuitively come to you, and trust that and go do that. Please talk about limiting beliefs and how to move past them. She says, you're thinking too much. You're thinking about your thoughts again, aren't you? She said, when you think about your thoughts, you are coming at the mind as if it's an affront that you need to hold down or to make go away. Have you tried feeling into your belief systems? Asking yourself, how deeply have they served you? And being very grateful to the mind for that service and saying, thank you for that. This helped me when I was a small child, or this helped me during a difficult marriage. This helped me for a time. Try that and watch the belief shift because it is no longer needed. Here is one way to get out of all beliefs. Lose the concept of possessing things, owning things. Seek to possess nothing. Seek to possess no one. You own nothing. How does that feel? It should make you feel free. Seek to change nothing and no one. That includes yourself. Why try to change you? The belief served. So why try to change them? Be grateful for them and watch them dissipate. Seek only to love, because love is the ultimate freedom. Kia ora, Katie Tiani. Is it possible to transmute the body? Katara said, surely, but you do this in other realms all the time. Perhaps you're remembering a time when you were a shapeshifter. But why do you need that at this time? Why are you interested in it now? What effect or ultimate consequence would be powerful or relevant to you to do that now? We're not here to show you magic. We're here to teach you miracles. Let's see. Tammy says, as I'm serving others, this perspective and action is best. What keeps me in greatest compassion? I need insight to open my heart. This could just be like, sometimes the mind of the channel. We've had a long, hard day, but I'm not sure about your question. So we're only going to be on for a few more minutes. So reword it for me. Are you asking is there a practice to keep you in compassion specifically that would work for you? I think that's what you're meaning. Katara says, you may more readily, easily, quickly recognize compassion by recognizing when you aren't feeling compassionate. And when you aren't feeling compassionate, catch yourself. You must train your behaviors by catching yourself being blah. Not that you're being mean, not that you're being overly compassionate. You just feel, ugh. Do that again. She said, ugh. That's like my cat midday, by the way. He sprawls out in the bed and he's, ugh. So compassion is alive. It is invigorating. It animates your smile and your face and your eyes. But when you find yourself bored with your human life, you are not being compassionate to the surrounding environment and to yourself. When you do that, you can realize that and just activate compassion. Just invoke it. Just ask to become the living embodiment of the Bodhisattva. All of the Buddhists did it. You can do it too. The Buddhists are known for their compassion because they are continually activating and animating compassion by invoking it and asking to embody the compassionate one. Be the embodiment of compassion and ask to be it, especially when you don't feel it or when you're blah. How do I release the judgment? You can't release judgment from the mind. Judgment is a power of its own caused by, Ascension is a numbers game. So say if 7 billion people, actually more like 9.5 billion people at this point, are judging on a daily basis, hundreds of thousands of times a day, that means that has been programmed in your collective human life experiencing. If you're still doing it, you're also picking up on the collective. Don't beat yourself up for judgment. Judgment is a necessary part of survival. But you do need to catch yourself when you're doing it and ask yourself, look, I did that. See, catch yourself. That's a common phrase. Many of you are saying, be aware. But I just say, catch yourself separating again. Catch yourself dividing everything, making it good or bad or holy or evil. And simply send compassion to yourself, the part of you that judged. Become the embodiment by being compassionate that you judged. Don't you deserve compassion too? Yadira, I have no idea. Oh, that was Katara saying that. She has no idea. Personally, I feel that enlightenment is about stages of growth that are always, always, always expanding and shifting. So you'll never really like be there. And the moment you do, it's like, what even is that? What even is that? I can't even tell you I know what enlightenment is, because it feels like it's something that you already are. So does that even exist? Why is it this thing that we're trying to be more ourselves? What is this? So I don't understand the concept of it anymore, much less can I say I am or I'm not. It's this, there's no part of my mind that's saying you are this or you are that. I don't relate to it anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just irrelevant, I guess is the best way to put it. The purpose at this point, Natalia, according to Katara, is to be still and to trust. Be still and trust. Very, very still right now. Yeah. Oh, man. So Katara does like this to Debbie Foreman right now in your comment, because you said, I don't know how to let my heart forgive her. And she said, take mine. And she just pushes her forgiveness at you. She said, please take all of my compassion. It's overflowing. It's okay to not forgive someone when you aren't ready. Can you be compassionate that you feel that way? You have a reason to feel that way. Be compassionate to you right now. Kitara, Sassy says, one day will you share why I get so giddy when I hear from you? She said, but I believe you already know. And she said, if she has to point it out what you already are aware of, she's not teaching you well. She wants you to tell her. Is Katara from Lyrian origins? She said, yes, 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 yes. She sings it to you like that. What if work just doesn't seem to fit anymore, but there's just nothing else visible on the horizon? She said, oh, but that's the point of creation that you fear most, my yogi. Create it. You are all headed into new forms of society. Create it up. Make it up. Make up a whole new career for yourself and start it now. Who's looking? Do it. She's like egging you. She's like, do it, do it, do it. She's chanting to you. She says she's not going to tell you, that you're going to have to think about it and like sit with it, because you already know. Alana said, yeah, never mind. I don't know. No. She says you already know, Sassy.
I don't know. I want to know.
Anya said, but I don't know. I want to know. She might tell you, Anya. Maybe. How to heal my own physical body. Okay. Jansen. Let me see. Have you forgiven the circumstances of the pain? Number one, forgiveness is still very relevant for everyone's healing at this time. Number two, have you forgiven the concept that you've missed out on something? That this whole, look at all the stages I've missed out, and the stages of other people's lives that I wanted to see, and even of my own life that I wanted to experience. Have you forgiven that? She asked. She says, when you drop into that quiet heart of acceptance about where you are in that bodily illness or infirmity, spirit will greet you, and your own spirit will sit with you in that silence and acceptance, and then your mind will merge with your heart. And she says, I can explain this to you in advance of it, because it won't make any sense. The mind couldn't possibly conjure the power of the divine and what will happen, but you must begin to believe in miracles. You must surround yourself with those who believe in miracles, and you must begin to believe them for yourself. The dilemma in physical healing for anyone is that she says it's by the time an illness settles into the physicality, that it's become a karmic experience that you just have to accept. You can't try to make it go away. That's the opposite of the energy of a miracle, you see, right? So it's like then the body's just trying to play catch up with the soul, and the soul can transcend it, but then the body has to kind of catch up because light moves faster than the density of the form, right? So the soul could be experiencing all sorts of illumination, and the body is like, I'm not there yet. Let's slow down and pay attention to me. So at that point, you need to believe in miracles, and you need to pray for them if you pray, meditate upon them if you do that, invoke them if you are a ritual person, do what you need to do. It isn't a specific technology, but it is light. You need to lighten up your thoughts. Make your life less dense, less fearful, more acceptance, more light, more joy. Even in the midst of deep pain, there is a place of joy that you can reach that would surprise you, would really surprise you and bring your heart to tears. Yeah, my mother had a pretty significant stroke a couple of years ago, and she was all like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And she really didn't believe in miracles. She took it, she looked at it more like, well, sure, if a miracle happens, it does, but I'm going to do physical therapy and I'm going to take medicines and I'm going to do everything the doctor said. And then she really didn't start making progress until recently, when she started saying, I might believe in a miracle. I might need a miracle. And then suddenly, like, her right foot started kicking out of the wheelchair one day. And she's like, why is it doing that? It's just moving. And I just remember thinking when she told me that, well, you said you wanted a miracle. You guys get so shocked when you get like the miracles. And now she's being approved for like a robotic arm. And so that the nerve system can be re-stimulated. And that's a miracle. You know, she doesn't have any money. She didn't know how she was going to pay for that. So that the miracles aren't always what we think. We think miracle is, oh, I get my arm back. But she's got the robotic arm coming. So now she's got this new way of being able to play music again. And that's a miracle. It's just not the miracle that she wanted it to be. Do you know what I mean? Miracles aren't always like, oh. So, all right. I have to go pick up my kid from school, and I will be right with him. I got so deep into channeling that I totally forgot my own kid. So I'm going to go pick him up. He's like 5 minutes away. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Have a really good day. Don't forget your codes. I've linked them above for the discounts and stuff at the top of the chat. I hope you enjoyed Katara's energy, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.